Hey guys, Louie here with a somewhat serious topic, and some things have happened lately in my world that has caused me to start thinking about how we will pass our stack on to our children. All right, so if you're perhaps over 40 and you haven't contemplated this issue, stick around and we'll talk about it. And I don't have all the answers, and I'd be curious what you're going to do. But there will be a time where you and perhaps your spouse or significant other pass away. And if you have $5,000, $10,000, $100,000 or more in precious metals, what will you do and how will you pass that to your heirs? All right. So as I said, recently we had an acquaintance that was killed in a bicycle accident. So perhaps even if you're under 40, you might consider this. But I've noticed the roads are getting more dangerous out there. And this was an individual that nobody expected would pass, but nonetheless, he was killed in a bicycle accident. And it got us to wondering what would happen to our precious metals, my wife and I, if we passed away. Well, we're older, so this is a relevant topic for us. We're in the process of setting up a trust and a living will and passover wills and so forth. And one thing that we believe would be dangerous, let's talk about our financial assets for a minute. One thing that we believe would be dangerous would be for young adults to receive a large amount of money at one time. Actually, it could be devastating to a young adult to get a large amount of money in one lump sum, and it could actually cause some real difficulties in their lives. And of course, it could also be squandered. I have another relative that came into a large inheritance and developed a gambling habit. And sure enough, that money, she was a high roller for a while in Vegas, but didn't take long for that sizable amount of money to disappear. So that lesson stuck with me, and therefore, what we're doing with our financial assets, if we both pass, is we're setting up annuities in the living trust that would distribute those financial assets over their lives. So it would be an income rather than a windfall. All right, so that is our mindset, is that young adults may not have the wherewithal or the capacity to comprehend a large amount of money. So that's what we're doing. But when it comes to our stack, okay, which is significant, I think I've told you before, it's 10 to 15% of my net worth. There's a good reason that you and I keep our money outside of the system. You don't really want to have your gold and silver tracked and traced by the government, and you may or may not want to pay capital gains tax on those investments, especially if they double or triple or quadruple or who knows what. We've already seen a double here, in the last couple of years. So there may be a disadvantage to including your precious metals in your living trust, all right, or your living will, whatever they call it. So I am one of those that believes in keeping my precious metals outside of the financial system, and no one knows about them, and they are in safe places, and when we pass, I want those to go to my children. But I don't want them to really be part of our will. And you may have a different view on that. I totally respect a different view on that. That would be a safer and more conservative and traditional way of passing on wealth like that. But let's just say, for argument's sake, it's $100,000. So if you want to put that in your will, then you would document all your assets, you would inventory them, you would put the basis, you would give your trustee the basis of those metals, so that when they pass, appropriate taxes could be paid if owed, and everything is above board. You could tell your trustee to liquidate them, that would all work out fine and be probably a safe way to approach it. I, on the other hand, have come to the conclusion that I do not want to do that, especially if there is a collapse in U.S. currency, especially if tax rates go up to 60, 70, 80%. That is not what I want to, that's not the legacy I want to leave to my kids. So this video is about what to do and how to do it if you want to pass your metals on to your heirs outside of the system. All right, so having thought about this, of course, you need to know where they are, how to get access to them upon your death. You need to leave those instructions. And the conclusion that I've come to is that I am going to entrust one of my children, the one with the more level head, with the responsibility of obtaining those precious metals from wherever they are, and then going about the process of either sharing them with their sibling, or liquidating them, right? All right, probably the best thing would be for them to liquidate a large portion of them. But this comes to the point of, will you teach your children to stack? Are you teaching your children to stack, whether they're 15 years old, 20 years old, 25 years old? Some kids, really resonate with that message and will pay attention. And some kids, money goes through their hands like a sieve, as would gold and silver. But the conclusion that I've come to, and tell me what you think, is that I am going to, and I have been for some time, working with one of my children to teach them everything they need to know about precious metals to responsibly handle the inheritance that will come to them. Undoubtedly, I don't think we're going to need that money before we die, and how to responsibly handle that. So what that involves is, lessons about currency and the devaluation of the dollar, and inflation. And, I think those are pretty easy to teach. What is not so easy to teach is how to protect yourself and protect the value of those assets once you obtain them. So let's say that you have educated the child that you're going to entrust to this. What I'm going to do is begin to acclimate this child into the process of buying and selling at a trusted LCS. All right, so the next time I go, I will be bringing that child to the LCS with me. We're going to do some buying. We're going to do some selling, and I want them to see how it is that you obtain a fair price, how to track the spot price, how to know over, under, etc. for the different classes of metals. I think that will be an interesting journey in the future, and hopefully they will come to understand that they will be receiving an opportunity and a challenge to be able to manage that stack as they get older. Now, you may have a relative that you would entrust with this outside of the system, or a best friend. However, I am not going to do it that way. I'm going to entrust this to one of my children and then have them be responsible for splitting it up and liquidating possibly a good portion of it, and sharing that with their sibling. So that's the plan. Of course, you may say, well, why don't they just keep that stack and pass it on to their children? But the world we live in, a stack is a huge responsibility. Of course, you could easily lose it. You could tell people about it, and you could be robbed. You could easily become a target if you're a younger person and you're not as wary about the world as some of us are. So that's my thought at the moment. This would result in the kids getting some cash upon our passing, but cash or metals. But like I said, we're going to structure the estate into an annuity, into an income stream for the rest of their lives, and this could turn into the mad money that perhaps they could buy a new car, or they could tuck it away if that's really what they want to do. There also is, if you're involved in collector coins, well, that is a whole other, bag of worms there, and that would require that they become knowledgeable about how to sell things on eBay, which would be the only place you could really, get the real value of those collector coins. Of course, every collector coin has its precious metals content, and that could be liquidated at the LCS as well if the eBay project was too much for someone to handle. So that's my thoughts at the moment. We're going to embark in an education here, which I think will serve the kids well into their future, and just see how valuable, how powerful precious metals are in obtaining cash when you need it. What are your thoughts about the future? What route are you taking? Have you thought about this? Because like I said, you could be on your bike tomorrow, and that could be the end of you wherever you have your metals. Do you have someone, a trusted someone, that knows where they are and what to do with them? Does your family know about them? I don't tend to talk to family members about the stack. It's just not something that I choose to do. I try to keep it all on the down low for obvious reasons. But, if you have trusted family members, of course, that is a whole different way to go. But what are you going to do? Have you thought about this? All right, I'm curious to see your comments, and I'm still formulating my plan, but that's what I'm thinking at the moment. What do you think?